lesson 2 of our adventure. If there was one book that I would want Nick Fuentes to read, it is this little book, Shalom San on the Nation and the Jewish People by Ernest Renan, French thinker of the 19th century. Now, that's for Nick Fuentes. But I have another reader in mind. When this exercise began, I tried to imagine the moral and mental outlook of a young Canadian boy studying in high school and quite by chance learning French and finding it a rather dull deal. The subjunctive and French use of pronouns can be thin gruel. But bring in Ernest Renan on What is the Nation, and the entire desk will come alight, because this man, this thoughtful French thinker, brooded on all the questions that Nick Fuentes is so exercised by. He was, the French thinker that is, in his lecture at the Sorbonne, was calm, clear, beautiful French, short little book, just a lecture, and yet it is probably Renan who is tremendously prolific, probably his most famous work, and the one that has had the most lasting influence. And I think set before that young boy in a Canadian high school learning French in Alberta or Manitoba in conservative Canada, in the kind of Canada where the expression before and after Trump might have been Canada first. When he goes home and listens to his parents talk, or his neighbors, or his school teachers, or whomever, we want to engage him. We want his neighbors on French to come alive. Now, I have an example because I'm a language teacher, have been a language teacher. And for my sins, I taught Japanese. And one year, I gave the students a translated version of a very famous Japanese novel called Snow Country. And when they came back, having read it, it was a quick read, one of the male students put his hand up in the back of the room and said, "Dr. Williams, that was a dull thing." And I thought, it isn't a dull thing. It won the Nobel Prize for Literature, and it is astoundingly interesting and revealing. So we replayed the tapes, if you will. I reenacted the key scenes from the novel. And they're a bit shocking because of their explicit nature. One of my colleagues came in and saw the exam paper and said, pornography. But the upshot was that after we did our little exercise, nobody said the book was dull. And in Canada's context, and this applies to New Zealand, to Australia, to the England of Farage, to the United States of Fuentes, what Renan says in this humane, calm, clear, restrained, balanced way is a way forward. So all of a sudden, we don't have just an academic exercise, something to fiddle with your dictionary as you work your way through. Quite the contrary. This is mind-changing. This is a chance to dig deep into a tradition that has thought about these things for a long time. And given that, and given the urgency of our circumstance, I don't think it's a bad idea for those of us who can read French to sit down with this text and say, let's see what we can make of it now. End of lesson 2.